Hi guys, welcome to another video. Hope you're all keeping well. Now in this video I'd just like to further me add to my recent video of horror movies which I haven't really touched upon in previous videos. So I've gathered a couple more up here, so without further ado, let's just get into it. So the first up are the DVDs. So the first DVD I'd like to show you is this one, Todd Browning's Freaks. I haven't watched this yet, so I've heard great things about it and that, some people said it's a classic and that, I saw the remake a couple of years ago and that, but I've never seen this one and that, so if you haven't seen it, I'll just read you the back of it just to give you some idea of what to expect. So it's been described as a classic of the grotesque. So it says it will be decades before this widely banned morality play gained acceptance as a cult masterpiece. Todd Browning, who directed Dracula in 1931, directs this landmark movie in which the true freaks are not the story's sideshow performers, but normals who mock and abuse them. So it's got a couple of special features here, guys, if you want to freeze your cameras just to take those in. So say I'm looking forward to watching this one. I love that cover as well. Really nice cover that. So this is from 1932 and that is Todd Browning's Freaks. The next one I'd like to show you is, it's a really what's the name movie. It's a really it really goes into detail about the actual case and that, and it's very sad to watch and that, especially if you're a fan of Sharon Tate, and that is Helter Skelter. Now this deals with the Tate killings in 1969 and that, involving Charles Manson and his gang of followers and that, the Manson family. And this is the best version I've ever seen of that horrific case and that, it's really good. It was made in 1976 and I'll just read you the back of it just to give you an outline of this movie. He boasts of 35 murders and is under indictment for 7. But legal experts say there may not be enough evidence to convict notorious killer Charles Manson. They predict he will leave the courtroom a free man. Now, Helter Skelter is the compelling, often harrowing true story of the investigation and trial that brought Charles Manson and members of his family to justice. Steve Railsbeck plays Manson with wild-eyed tenacity, ranting at the court and the system it represents. George DiCenzio portrays lead prosecutor Vincent Bugliosi, who wrote the book Helter Skelter, which I've got in my collection. Combining facts and legal stratagems into a solid case. They used actual court transcripts for this movie in many of the trial scenes, and the result is the kind of frightening, fascinating, startling viewing that can only come from real life. So if you're interested in this case, and that is a very sad case, and that, because Sharon Tate is one of my favourite actresses, and that, and every time I watch anything like this, it really gets you, and that, but this is the best version I've seen of the case, and that is Helter Skelter from 1976. Next DVD up is Martyrs. Now again, I enjoyed this movie and that, there's also another version, a foreign language version, that which I haven't seen in its entirety, but this is very good in that, so it's based on a terrifying horror classic. It's got a couple of special features there, guys, if you want to freeze your, not all that many, but if you want to freeze your cameras and have a deco with them. I'll just read you the back of it just to give you an idea that, if you haven't seen the movie. 10-year-old Lucy flees from the isolated warehouse where she's been held prisoner. Deeply traumatized, she is plagued by awful night terrors at the orphanage that takes her in. Her only comfort comes from Anna, a girl her own age. Nearly a decade later, and still haunted by demons, Lucy finally tracks down the family that tortured her. As she and Anna move closer to the agonizing truth, they find themselves trapped in a nightmare. If they can't escape, a martyr's fate awaits them. So guys, that is Martyrs. As I say, there's another version, a foreign language version, which I'll have to get round to watching and that, I've only seen trailers of it and that, but this is a very good movie, this one. Running time 86 minutes, so that is Martyrs. Next DVD I'd like to show you, well, we're on to the Blu-rays now actually, and this must be my all-time favourite Australian horror movie, and that is Wolf Creek. Now John Jarratt, he's really fantastic playing the villain in this movie. It's one of, well, this is me, as I say, as I've just said, this is my favourite Australian horror movie, and that, It's one of the scariest films in years, you can say that again. Yeah, an unforgettable, shocking and completely visceral, yeah, visceral experience from, yeah, first time director Greg McLean. It's about these three backpackers. I don't want to give too much of the story away in case you haven't seen it, but basically it's about these three backpackers who head into the beautiful, isolated Australian outback in a dilapidated car. Excuse me. Now, after several days of driving, they finally arrive at their destination, Wolf Creek National Park, a mysterious area where a meteorite landed. After exploring the terrain, they discover that their watches don't work and their car won't start. Now, as the panic starts to set in and the trio prepare to spend the night in the middle of nowhere, they notice strange lights emerging from the darkness heading straight for them. And so begins the group's encounter with one of the most terrifying villains in the history of film. You can say that again, because, you know, John Jarratt, he's absolutely brilliant in this role. You know, it's a fantastic movie in that Wolf Creek. It's got some extras there, guys, if you want to freeze your cameras just to take those in. Yeah, highly recommend this movie if you've never seen it and you like a good Australian horror movie. And I love the setting as well. I love the Australian outback and that, you know, and the big crater in the ground and that. And he is one of the most evil, disturbing killers I've ever seen in horror cinema history. Wolf Creek, yeah. I believe they've actually done a series of it as well. I watched the series of it, but I must admit I do prefer the movie and that, you know, yeah, because this centres more on the series didn't centre so much on John Jarratt's killer. It's centered more on the girl and that, yeah. But anyway, I don't want to go into too much of that if you haven't seen it. But I highly recommend this, guys, Wolf Creek. It's an absolute classic. If you like a good Australian horror movie, yeah, edge of your seat drama, you know, nerve-wracking suspense, I would highly recommend Wolf Creek. And following on from that, I've got the sequel here, which is equally brilliant, and that is Wolf Creek 2. Again, John Jarratt is really on the money playing this villainous killer, demented killer in the Australian outback and that. Oh yeah, it's fantastic, really is, yeah. Mick Taylor is the name of the psychopath that John Jarratt plays, and this has got a great slipcover. No reversible artwork, but I just love that slipcover. And again, it's got a few special features there if you want to freeze your cameras and have a look at those. Yeah. Again, you know, just as good as the first one, you know, Wolf Creek and that. I believe they're going to make, well, I've heard they're going to make a Wolf Creek 3, but I haven't seen any more news about that. You know, so yes, I'm still waiting for that one and that, you know, but two fantastic movies here, Wolf Creek 1, Wolf Creek 2, and John Jarratt, oh, you know, I mean, I could sit here all afternoon uttering superlatives about how brilliantly he plays this evil, demented character, Mick Taylor, you know, and I say again, just like in the first Wolf Creek movie, I love the setting, I love the Australian outback and that, you know, and a real feeling of isolation and that, you know. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie, yeah, so there you go, that is Wolf Creek 2. Next Blu-ray I'd like to show you is The Hills Have Eyes, the remake. Now, I thought this was better than the original one that was made in the 70s and that, you know, it's much more, there's a lot more going on in that, it's much more gory in that, and it's much more, excuse me, it's much more nerve-wracking than that, you know, yeah. And again, there's a couple of special features there on this edition if you want to take a deco with them, guys. Yeah, I love this remake. Yeah, I think it's better than the first one. I wasn't too keen. They made a sequel to this, but I wasn't too keen on that one. I thought it was very, very disappointing, very mediocre. But this is a fantastic movie. Yeah, I got this quite cheap as well in Liverpool. Yeah. So yeah, a cross-country road trip takes a deadly turn in this chilling remake of Wes Craven's classic horror film about a stranded family that falls prey to a freakish clan of bloodthirsty mutants in New Mexico desert. So yeah, guys, if you're a fan of The Hills Have Eyes and you've never seen this, the remake, I highly recommend that you go out and get yourself a copy of this. That is The Hills Have Eyes, the remake. Next one up is another Frankenstein movie, and that is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, starring Robert De Niro. Absolutely love this movie and that, yeah. It's one of the best Frankenstein movies I've ever seen, and Robert De Niro is really on the money, you know, playing the role of the creature and that, you know. I'm just looking at the back here to see if there's any special features. No, there's nothing there. Now this is from 1994, and yeah, there's been many Frankenstein remakes over the years now. A lot have been good, a lot have been bad, but this is This is one of the good ones, yeah. Robert De Niro, oh, he's fantastic in this role, and that, you know, as the monster. And it's very true to Mary Shelley's original novel as well, yeah. And I love the Arctic settings. Whenever I watch a Frankenstein movie, I always love to see the Arctic, because that's where the final confrontation takes place between Victor Frankenstein and his immortal creation in the Arctic, and that, you know, I always loved that part and that, and of course the ship and that, you know, Walton ship, you know, yeah. But there you go, that is Frankenstein, starring Robert De Niro, and that is from 1994. Next Blu-ray I'd like to show you. I just look at this cover, guys. I mean, when I clapped eyes on this, I was instantly tempted to buy it, and that is American Poltergeist 7. Absolutely love that cover, guys. Yeah, but this is a foreign version, so I can't really read off the back and that. But it's basically like basically the title says it all. Like, you know, it's about this poltergeist and that, you know, and it torments a group of people and that, you know, yeah. So I believe this was released under another title. I can't remember what it was now, yeah. So, but if you type it in on the internet and that, you know, because it's got nothing to do with the previous American Poltergeist from what I can remember. I think they could have just plucked this title out of thin air and just like gave it that. But I think it's got an original title from when it was first made, yeah. So it might be worthwhile checking that out on the internet, yeah. Thoroughly enjoyable movie, yeah. And the picture quality is fantastic in that, yeah. Yeah, it's got a couple of extras. It's just got the original trailer and trailer show, yeah. Yeah. So there you go. That is American Poltergeist 7. I love that cover. Next one up is Witchboard 2. Again, fantastic movie, real gripping, you know, quite horrific, you know, creepy and that, you know. This is the direct sequel to Witchboard and that, you know, again, which again was another fabulous movie. Yeah, and it's got a couple of bonus features on there, guys, if you want to freeze your cameras just to take those in there. Yeah, absolutely love Witchboard 2. I watched it twice now, and yeah, I've enjoyed it on every occasion and that, you know, yeah. I'll just give you an idea. If you haven't seen it, I'll just read you a little bit of the blurb, just to give you some idea of what to expect. Yeah, so it's about this beautiful young woman who unlocks a passageway to pure evil in a spine-tingling supernatural sequel to the popular hit Witchboard. Now, when Paige Benedict, played by Amy Dolence from Ticks and She's Out of Control, moves into her new artist loft, the only thing on her mind is her art and her slightly loopy landlady, Elaine. But when she finds an old Ouija board buried in her closet, she discovers that this new apartment isn't hers at all. So if you like a good supernatural movie, guys, involving a, you know, creepy Ouija board, Witchboard, I highly recommend that you go out and get yourself a copy of this. It's a fantastic movie. I would never give this away, like, and keep it in my collection because it's one of my favourites. Yeah. So there you go. That is Witchboard 2, and that is from 1993. Next one up is, and this is a remake of a classic slasher movie from the 70s, and that is My Bloody Valentine. This actually stars the guy from Supernatural. If you watch the Supernatural season, that with the two brothers in and that, you know. Yeah, Jensen Ackles. Yeah. I won't give too much away about this one in case you haven't seen it. But it's basically similar to the original My Bloody Valentine from, I think that was released in 1978. But it goes off on its own tangents, you know, in some part of the story. It's sort of like deviates a little bit from the original story. Very enjoyable movie. Yeah, fantastic. And it's got a good twist as well, yeah. I love My Bloody Valentine. Yeah, both movies actually. So if you haven't got a copy of this, guys, I highly recommend that you get yourself a copy. Thoroughly enjoyable movie, and that is the My Bloody Valentine remake, and that is from 2009. The last Blu-ray I'd like to show you is one called Bloodstocking Freaks. Again, this is a very horrific movie, very gory and that, you know, and I love the slip cover. And there's the reversible artwork there, guys. Yeah, it's a fantastic movie, this, yeah. It's not for the faint-hearted, you know. I think you've got to have a little bit of a strong stomach to watch it. And it's got some special features there, guys, if you want to freeze your cameras and take those in. Yeah, watch this movie now a couple of times, and I always enjoy it and that, you know, yeah. If you're not familiar with Bloodstocking Freaks, I'll just read you a little bit of back of the blurb just to give you some idea of what to expect, if, you know, if you get it yourself. Yeah, so never before released in the UK, Bloodstocking Freaks has earned a worldwide reputation as being a film unlike anything ever seen before in the history of cinema. Bloodstocking Freaks takes you to a bizarre off-Broadway theatre of the macabre, operated by a deranged impresario. Now, Inside, sadistic entertainments are staged for his audience pleasure. Yeah, many gruesome acts which appear to be fake. Now, when people begin disappearing off the streets of Manhattan, the twisted truth begins to chillingly sink in. These horrifying, blood-curdling acts are not theatrical at all. So yeah, guys, if you like a good, good gory horror movie and that, you know, good story, good characters and that, and gripping, I highly recommend that you get yourself a copy of Bloodstocking Freaks. And it is from, yeah, I think this was made in 1976. Yes, 1976, yeah. Okay, guys, so that about winds this video up for now. So just to recap on the movies I've just shown, yeah. Todd Browning's Freaks, Helter Skelter, as I said, the best movie version of the original, you know, Charles Manson case, yeah. Helter Skelter from 1976. Martyrs. Wolf Creek, the all-time favourite Australian horror movie. Wolf Creek 2. Hills Have Eyes remake. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, starring Robert De Niro as the creature. American Poltergeist 7, love that cover. Witchboard 2. My Bloody Valentine. And finally, Bloodstocking Freaks. There you go, guys, yeah. So, yeah, that's a second video in my series of horror movies I haven't yet talked about in previous videos. Hope to be doing another one very, very soon, so stay tuned. Yeah, hope you're all keeping well, you know, keeping your spirits up in these awful times and that, you know. Oh, let's hope things get back to normal soon, yeah. But everybody's got to do their part and that, you know, otherwise, you know, it's going to go on a long time, yeah. But anyway, yeah, okay. So all going well. If you like this video, please feel free to share, subscribe, comments, and if you've got a horror movie collection, please feel free to you know, talk about it below, what your favourite horror movies are and that, you know. And yeah, all going well. I shall see you all in the next video. Stay safe now, guys.